dancer recently asked me, "Hey Rachel, is it a diet if I'm technically eating all of the calories I need? I'm just doing it in a certain period of time." So I loved this question so much that I needed to dedicate a blog post and a video to intermittent fasting. Cultures and religions have been intermittently fasting for hundreds of centuries, so there's nothing new here. But when it comes to the mainstream, and well, for the purpose of dancenutrition.com and what I do, I'm focusing on intermittent fasting for dance performance. Can it benefit? And if so, should more dancers be doing it? Well, let's break it down so that you can be better informed to make that decision for yourself. So what is intermittent fasting? Fasting technically means that you're going a certain period of time without eating any food and sometimes even without drinking any water. In regards to the mainstream type of intermittent fasting, we're talking about several different protocols. One such protocol, or the 16-8 protocol, is when you're eating for 8 hours of the day, but then you're omitting food for the other 16 hours of that 24-hour period. Other more extreme protocols, like the 5-2 protocol, mean that throughout the course of 1 week, majority of your intake is happening over 5 days, with the other 2 days being severe restriction or eating less than 25% of your body's daily calorie needs. And for the purpose of this video, we're not focusing on how many calories your body needs, simply because that's an extremely individual question that relies on so many different factors. And in addition to that, if you're eating a well-balanced diet, there's actually no need for you to even focus on the number of calories throughout the day. So what's the point? See, this is what makes intermittent fasting so interesting, because unlike most diet trends, intermittent fasting actually has a good amount of research behind it. And there's even some evidence that shows potential associations with improvements in cognitive brain functioning and increased energy. Since energy and mental clarity are two extremely important factors for a dancer's performance, it totally makes sense why a dancer might be interested in starting intermittent fasting. There's a major caveat here. First of all, these research studies show association, not causation. So when it comes to reading that type of evidence, sure, researchers might see improved energy or better brain functioning, but is that really the result of intermittent fasting? Or might it be due to the fact that those study participants are eating a nourishing, well-balanced diet in addition to partaking in some other lifestyle factors like exercise? So it's always difficult to rely on research that's solely based on association and not causation. The second issue here is that most of the evidence surrounding intermittent fasting shows improvements that are reported, not proven. Study participants are usually self-reporting how they feel, which can be extremely subjective and hard to draw any final conclusions. Another issue I have with the evidence surrounding intermittent fasting, and this is a big issue, there is absolutely zero research performed on intermittent fasting and dance populations. So whatever evidence, whatever research is out there doesn't apply to dancers. It is key to remember this when making your decision. But let's go back to why there's so much controversy here. And it also goes back to that dancer's initial question. If I'm eating enough calories, then am I really restricting myself? I have two major considerations. The first, intermittent fasting is not practical for an active dancer. When it comes to energy, the body has two main sources. One is glycogen and one is fat. But when it comes to your physical movement and your dancing, the body always prefers to burn glycogen over fat simply because it's easier and more efficient for the body to burn through your glycogen stores, which are also located throughout your muscles. Because it's so easy for the body to burn glycogen, glycogen offers really quick energy, which is ideal when you're in a dance class, especially for petit allegro. Not only that, but allowing your body to use glycogen for energy helps to save fat for other important processes like hormone production, vitamin absorption, and even bone development. The thing is, unlike fat, glycogen depletes very rapidly. In fact, you can use up all of your body's glycogen in just about one dance class. So it is essential to replenish your body's glycogen stores throughout the day. If you're intermittent fasting and your fast conflicts with your time of dance, then you're going to run into some major energy issues. You'll feel sluggish in class, you'll have a hard time picking up choreography, and you might even be at risk for injury. In regards to the calorie question, if I'm eating enough calories, but I'm doing so in a certain time period, is it really considered a restriction? Well, I want you to remember, restrictive eating doesn't only involve calories. Restrictions can involve anything around your eating habits, like the types of foods you're choosing, or in this case, the times that you're choosing to eat. The moment we create a food rule around an otherwise very biological and intuitive process, we risk psychological repercussions. Obsessive thoughts about food and anxiety over your next meal are just some. And I know from the dancers that work with me, these are more often than not experienced anytime a food rule exists, especially one that centers around the times you're eating, such as that with intermittent fasting. Point blank, if a food is off limits, you're gonna crave it more and more and more and more. Now that we've discussed my two main issues with intermittent fasting for dancers, I want you all to take a step back and realize that we all actually intermittently fast every day. It's called sleeping. And if you want to label this as a nocturnal fast, then go right ahead. I have no issues with that. But remember, there's no need to develop a rule such as I can't eat anything past 8 p.m. or I need to fast for 16 hours. Try to avoid those hard fast rules that are going to cause those psychological repercussions I discussed earlier. Well, I hope you liked my summary about intermittent fasting. And most importantly, I hope that you feel more equipped to make that decision, whether or not this is for you. My opinion, focus on a nourishing meal plan that omits those hard, fast food rules, that leaves you craving foods and/or experiences you otherwise would enjoy.